Hello and welcome to the education edition of the SCP podcast. My name is Nick McAuliffe, and I am joined by my gracious and talented co-host and co-chair of SCP Training and Development, Selva Blum. Today in our studio, we have Dr. Dana Ackley, author of the EQ Leader Program Manual and facilitator of an upcoming offering entitled EQ Coaching Workshop, Get Hired, Get Results.
Thank you, Nick. Dana, it's great to have you here in our podcast today. And we're so excited to offer this program at SCP in 2022. Thank you. So SCP has a mix of members ranging from graduate students to seasoned professionals. Who is this course appropriate for?
Well, I've done this course 4 times, once before for SCP a couple of years ago. And what I've found is that it really has been found useful by a broad range, people with a broad range of experience, from those who have some coaching experiences, but they're kind of early career, to mid-level, to very seasoned coaches. And in fact, when we did this for SCP a couple of years ago, we had 2 former presidents, or 2 presidents of SCP. And we got some wonderful, frankly, unsolicited comments from folks, again, with a broad range of experience. And you can find those on the website that we'll have for this and see what folks said. I would not recommend the program for people who are interested in coaching but have not yet done any. I probably should have some coaching experience before you take this one on.
Well, yeah, that says a lot already, but with so many options for continuing education, how do you believe this course differentiates itself?
Well, you're right, Selva. There's a lot of opportunity out there, and as professionals, we only have but so much time. So there are 6 things that I would comment that might help people. It really depends on, think about, as you listen to these 6 things, where do you want your career to go? What are your plans over the next few years about what you want to be doing? So the first thing is, I'm a fellow in the American Psychological Association in 2 divisions, Division 13, SCP, and Division 42, which is largely psychotherapists. And I made a fellow 25 years ago for some work I did there. But the important point is that I was a therapist for 25 years. Before I transitioned into coaching, which I've been doing exclusively for the last 20 plus years. That therapy background has been really valuable to me. I don't do therapy with my clients, my coaching clients, but the depth that I am able to go into with clients, they find exceptionally helpful to find out, how am I getting in my own way sometimes? And what are my real assets that I can use to help myself be successful? So that's one. The second is, this is EQ coaching. Now it's a workshop on coaching. Emotional intelligence is the adjective. But I got interested in EQ way back in 1999, because even then I could see the huge potential that the skills that EQ comprises can have in helping people be successful. Well, and since then, literally thousands of studies, if you check out the APA research summers, thousands of studies have demonstrated that emotional intelligence skills, when paired with good intellect, really give leaders an edge. And we don't teach EQ systematically in schools like we do intellect. So what coaches can do is really help leaders build these skills using the stuff that we're going to be talking about and help their clients make a difference. In 2006, I wrote the first comprehensive program for building EQ skills in leaders called the EQ Leader Program, published by MHS, which publishes the best validated measures of EQ. In 2020, I revised the manual, and it's going to be the text. So what I did is I integrated what I've learned over the intervening 14 years. So it's this EQ element that we'll bring in. The third thing is that with this manual, participants will walk away with ready-made materials that they can use to build their own programs. You're going to be able to, you will have downloaded introductory workshops, including PowerPoint and speaker's notes, and you can edit these things to your delight, but you don't have to start from scratch. It includes a structured interview around leadership and EQ issues that can be part of your assessment process. You'll learn a lot about the emotional quotient inventory that I find very helpful in coaching. There are 186 exercises included in the manual that I give to clients, and people who buy the manual can give to clients using your letterhead to help, and so it's great homework stuff.
Yeah. So you already went through 3, and I already see great value in this program, right?
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So what are the other 3?
So the fourth is that participants will learn a great deal about how to integrate emotional intelligence skills with an overall coaching framework. What I have found is that EQ skills are a bridge to pretty much everything that coaches need to be talking about with their clients. So it isn't just EQ, it really is coaching broadly defined, but that EQ stuff just really makes a difference. Fifth, people who have not yet felt really successful in building their business, nobody gets coached unless you are able to build your business. So when we say the title, Get Hired, Get Results, Get Hired means that I'm going to help you build a program, the foundation for a marketing program you can use to draw business to you so that you can indeed get results with your clients. And we'll spend time working on how to do that. And then finally, I found that the EQI, Emotional Quotient Inventory 2.0, is a great tool for coaching, at least for me. I've had great success with it. And while I won't be able to certify you in that instrument, you'll learn a lot about how to interpret it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's great value there. And so you offered this class 2 years ago. What is different in 2022?
Okay, so there are 3 big differences. One is in 2020, I didn't have the manual ready to use as a text. And again, you're going to get, it runs almost 500 pages, so it's got lots of detail and materials that I want you to use, again, under your own letterhead, not mine. You won't have to give me credit because you'll be buying a license. Now, the manual actually sells for $800 on its own, but it is included in the tuition price, and we've worked in a $200 discount for participants in this program. So that's one. The second thing is that we're going to have a follow-up session 30 to 60 days after the main program. And what we want to do with that is you get a chance to try this stuff out. Maybe you get stuck somewhere. We don't want you to stay stuck. So we're going to have you come back, and for those of you who want to, and we'll figure out when we're in their last session so that you can tell me when would be a good time to do that. But we want you to be able to solve problems that you might have difficulty with. The third thing is that we are recording the program, so if you have to miss one, you can watch it later. But we're not going to be offering it for sale later on. So you kind of have to come and do it as live as you can.
Yeah. So Dana, you've been in the EQ space for a long time and have taught EQ coaching around the globe, right? So
That's right.
What is the most fulfilling part of this journey for you?
I think what most coaches would say, it's my clients and how they respond. I love helping people be successful. And this past weekend at the SCP Midwinter Conference, I was really honored to be given the Leadership Worth Following Award. And so I was nominated, and then they say, well, but you got to put in some endorsements from clients. And so I got some clients to write stuff, and it was just, it really was very touching how they talked about that the work that we did together made a difference in their success, their professional success and in their lives. And that is the most rewarding thing. And I think that's true for most coaches.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So the last question, what do you hope participants gain as a result of taking this course?
3 things. They're going to add to the professional coaching acumen. They're going to learn a lot about emotional intelligence. And they're going to learn something about how to build a business.
Okay. Yeah. And so that's great. We want to invite everyone to participate in your program.
Yes.
And EQ coaching, get hired, get results.
And we'll have some fun, I hope.
Yes. And we're very honored to have you teach this program at SCP this year. The program dates are March 29 for the first session, April 12, and then the final session is on April 26. And I hope you all can join us. Each session goes from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. And this course offers CE credit units also. So thank you so much, Dana. Pleasure to have you today.
My pleasure. If I might say, it's 4 hours over video. I promise we'll make it comfortable.
And I can attend to that. Dana, it's been an amazing journey with you. I am so excited to be hosting this class, or not hosting class with you, but SCP hosting this educational offering. We had just an amazing turnout last time. I have no doubt that we'll do the same again. And you're an amazing instructor. And for any information, for those of you watching, all the information will be posted in the links below. And we welcome any questions that you may have about this session. Thank you so much. And once again, we appreciate you coming to the education edition of the SCP podcast. We'll see you next time.